In the village of Uduma, they laughed at her torn clothes. They whispered curses behind her back. But when the king's life was on the line, only the poor woman they mocked held the power to save him. This is not just a tale. It's a warning and a lesson. In the heart of the kingdom of Uduma, a land of rich traditions and rolling hills, there lived a woman named Mama Nena. Her home was a crumbling mud hut at the edge of the village, where the wild grass grew tall and the trees whispered secrets of old. To many, she was just an old, hunched woman with tattered clothes, a battered walking stick, and a basket of herbs she gathered from the forest. Children mocked her. Merchants shooed her away from their stalls. Women gossiped behind her back. They said she was cursed. They said she had lost her mind. They said her poverty was punishment from the gods. What they didn't know was that Mama Nena carried a secret, one passed down through generations, hidden in plain sight, buried in the roots of her silence. Every market day, Mama Nena would appear, barefoot and dusty, with small bundles of roots, leaves, and strange powders she tried to sell for a few coins. People walked past her like she was invisible. One day, a group of young women laughed openly as she passed. "Look at her wrapper. Even the goats wouldn't wear that," one of them said. "She smells like she bathes in leaf water," another giggled. Mama Nena said nothing. Her eyes, though tired, carried a sadness that pierced deeper than any insult. She turned, adjusted her scarf, and kept walking. But the village elder, Papa Ajadai, watched her closely. He didn't laugh. He didn't mock. He remembered her as a young girl, bright, spirited, full of questions. He remembered her mother, a healer. He remembered the fire. Yes, the fire. Years ago, a mysterious blaze consumed Nena's family home. Her parents died. Her sisters vanished. Nena alone survived, burned, orphaned, and accused. Many believed she had summoned the fire through dark magic. They were wrong. But truth, in Uduma, often bowed to fear. King Obinna, ruler of Uduma, was a just and respected man. Though stern in council, he was known to walk among his people and listen to their troubles. One morning, as he stood addressing a crowd during the Yam festival, his voice suddenly cracked. He staggered, and then collapsed. Panic erupted. His guards rushed him to the palace. The best physicians were summoned. They applied herbs, called for spiritualists, and chanted incantations through the night. But the king grew weaker. His lips turned dark. His breath shallow. His skin cold. A whisper swept through the kingdom. "The king is dying." The queen, a doggo, wept in silence. The crown prince, just 10 years old, clutched her waist and asked if his father would ever wake up again. And then, in the middle of that dread, Papa Ajadai stepped forward with a whisper of his own. "There is one among us who may yet save him. But she lives at the edge of the village, and we have all turned our backs on her." The queen, desperate, sent for Mama Nena. 2 palace guards arrived at her hut. She looked up slowly as they approached, eyes wary. "The king is ill," one said, avoiding eye contact. "The queen requests your presence." Mama Nena rose slowly, fetched a satchel filled with herbs, stones, and a single gourd filled with water from the sacred spring. She said nothing. She only nodded. When she arrived at the palace, nobles and guards parted as if she carried disease. Some turned their backs. Others whispered, "This is the one they brought to save the king? A beggar! Are we cursed already?" But the queen stood firm. "If she is our last hope, let her try." In the king's chamber, heavy with incense and fear, Mama Nena laid her hands upon the king's chest. She whispered words older than Uduma itself. Words her mother had taught her. Words that came not from scrolls or temples, but from the earth. She opened her gourd and poured water onto his forehead. She crushed leaves between her palms, rubbed them onto his chest. She lit a small flame and circled it around him 3 times. Then she sat and waited. The room was silent. Then the king coughed. The queen gasped. His fingers twitched. His chest rose, and did not fall again like it had been doing for days. Tears poured from the queen's eyes. The guards stepped back in awe. Mama Nena stood and simply said, "He will wake before the next moon." And she turned to leave. Word spread like wildfire. She healed the king, the woman they mocked, the poor woman with the torn wrapper. The next day, the king walked through the palace gardens. 3 days later, he addressed the people once more, his voice strong. Mama Nena was summoned again. She was offered gold, fine clothes, land, anything she wanted. But she refused. "Let me return to my hut," she said. "That is where I belong." The queen insisted she accept a royal robe. She did, quietly. But she never wore it. She folded it and placed it in a small wooden box inside her hut. In the years that followed, no one mocked Mama Nena. Children greeted her with respect. Women came to her for healing. Men nodded politely when they passed her in the forest. But one day, the villagers woke up to find her hut empty. Her walking stick rested against the door. Her mat was neatly rolled. Her herbs untouched. She was gone. Some said she walked into the forest and never returned. Some said the spirits called her home. Others believed she had finished her task on earth and vanished like a mist. Papa Ajadai, now very old, gathered the children of Uduma and told them her story beneath the moonlight. "Remember her," he said, "for the one you mock today may carry the power to save your tomorrow. Respect even those who have nothing, for you don't know what they carry inside." And so, in the village of Uduma, whenever a child laughed at a beggar or mocked someone for their clothes, the elders would say, "Mind yourself. You may be mocking Mama Nena in disguise." Moral of the story: never judge someone by what they wear or where they live. Greatness often hides in humility, and the most broken soul may be the one who holds your salvation.